our Mother's Day message. It's going to be in your Bible. Let's turn our Bibles to, we're going to read a proverb and we'll get started. All right, let me put this down. Great. And what's up? Joe's pointing to the sky. What? Oh, the video. That's right. I knew I was forgetting something. I'm like, what am I doing? So we do have a video. Moms, you do some amazing things. So there's some humor in this video. Please, I asked Michelle, a simple question. I said, Michelle, can you get a little video of what moms say? Like, what do you remember your mom saying? So a little video from last week. We went around and asked a few people. We're going to watch that video here today. Let's take a look. We practiced like 5 times. 5 times we practiced. Just double click on it. I'll go do it if you'd like. So I'm sure you guys got great plans today, huh? Yeah? All right, here we go.
One thing my mom always says to me is, don't play with me.
She tells me to always slow down while I'm driving.
I love kissing me.
My mom always says, wash your hands.
What does mommy always say to you?
I love you.
I'm very proud of you and you're a mighty man of God.
No, just
You're with so-and-so? Did you tell me about Jesus? Did you tell me about Jesus? She was created to be a mom, and she taught me everything I know how to be the best mother I am.
my mom always says stop wrestling.
Go in your room.
No burping at the table.
She loves me so much.
Hey, honey, I have a silly question.
She always says no.
Thank you for telling me to stop complaining a lot because I'm a complainer.
You're self-absorbed.
Christopher, save some food for your sister.
My mom always says that I smell bad.
David, my whole life doesn't revolve around you.
She also always tells me that she loves me.
And she said she loves me.
I love you.
Love you, Mom. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
And I'm just happy that you're always in my life. Happy Mother's Day.
I love you, Mom.
Love you so much, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
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 Happy Mother's Day. I love you, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day.
One.
We've been playing the same video for about 5 years, and so I thought I'd give you a different video. But thank you, Michelle, Mom, who made the video. And way to go, Michelle. Thank you so much. I was wrestling through a passage in the Bible this past week, but I came to just this message. And so Lord, I feel like has to remind us of the wisdom of a mother and how powerful and important it is. So let's just read from Proverbs chapter 31, verse 26. It simply says this: she speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. Proverbs 31:26. Mothers, you bring different emotions into the room. You bring emotions of celebration. You bring emotions of gratitude, of grief, of longing, of healing. But throughout the women, God has used women throughout the Bible specifically mothers, to reveal his heart and to teach his people. And so today we're going to look at just 3 specific mothers in the Bible that have been able to speak wisdom to us through their actions and their emotions and their behavior. And each of these women, I believe, not only will just speak to probably other moms in the room, but will be able to speak a message of wisdom to all of us here today. So let's jump in to the first mom, or the first statement is from Hannah. We're going to learn about this. We're going to hear the story of Hannah. And would you put that first wisdom statement up there? What you surrender to God can become greater than what you try to control yourself. I'll read it one more time. What you surrender to God can become greater than what you try to control yourself. See, if you don't know the story of Hannah, it comes from Samuel chapter 1 and 2, 1 Samuel chapter 1 and 2. It's a beautiful story of a woman who is married to this man, and sadly he has another wife. That's just kind of the way they did things back then. But she was kind of tormented or tortured by this other woman for a period of time, and mainly it was because of a lot of reasons, but you could see that she was not bearing a child. And so one day she goes to the temple, she goes to the priest, she's praying to the Lord, she's asking for a child, she's asking for the Lord to give her a child, and the priest sees her. And what is beautiful about the story of Hannah is that she comes to the Lord in her barrenness and brokenness. She carried disappointment for years, for a long period of time, and instead of running away from God, she instead ran to God with her pain before him. I mean, how many of us do that, right? We'll run to so many other places with our pain, our struggle, but very rarely will we run to God. And she prayed honestly before the Lord. And here's the beautiful thing, that the priest at the temple, he blesses her. God then blesses her with a child, and she commits that child to the Lord. So I'm going to read to you a little passage, but we're just going to focus in on verses 27 and 28. So I'm going to jump back to 24 and read to you a key part of this. It says, after he was weaned, speaking of Hannah weaning Samuel, her now newborn child that God had blessed her with after she brought her pain before the Lord, and God had now blessed her with a child. After he was weaned, she took the boy with her young as he was, along with a 3-year-old bull, an ephod of flour, a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh. When the bull had been sacrificed, they brought the boy to Eli, and she said to him, "Pardon me, my lord. As surely as I live, I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord granted me what I asked him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life, he will be given over to the Lord." And he worshiped the Lord there. I mean, think about that for a second. You're a mom, you're barren, you have this pain, you go to the Lord, you get prayed for, you blessed with a child, and then you give the child over back to God. I mean, this is a moment of surrender if I haven't seen one before. But here's the sad thing. We usually think of surrender as a moment of losing, right? If the other team surrendered to them, the other team, you are the loser. No, when we surrender to God, it is a victorious moment in our life, because we are saying that we trust you, God, with what matters most in our life. I want you to think about it like this. A farmer with seed in his hands, those seeds cannot do anything. They're not going to grow. They're not going to flourish. They're not going to be coming to the beautiful flower that God has made it to be until what? The farmer releases the seed. And after that moment, he doesn't control anything. I mean, he could do other things to maybe help that seed grow, but the one who makes it grow is God. And God will do what he wants to do once you release it. Now, here's the big question that you have to ask yourself and me. Like, what are those things that I am holding on to and not releasing and allowing God to work? Like, I want to say just in parenting, one of the hardest things is realizing that your child belongs to the Lord. It is so difficult. Like, he belongs or she belongs to you. Like, you could even say like, oh, wow, I see a lot of characteristics or a lot of traits in my child, good and bad for some of us. But the reality is like you could say, that's mine. No, that child is God's. And I want to tell you, that's something I've been battling with lately a lot. It's just like realizing like, wow, the path that I have planned for my kid might not be the path they go down. And I have to be 100% okay with that. I can guide them, I can love them, I can pray for them, but ultimately, like I got to trust God with the future that he has for my child. Now, this might even apply to many of you with dreams. Like we're holding on to something, we're holding on to our dreams, our plans, our desires for our life. And the reality is like those must be surrendered to God. They have to be surrendered to God. I don't know if I've ever told some of you in the story in here, but like my dream was to become a CEO of some company in New York City, being on the big like platform there. And I had a first row seat to a chief marketing officer of Macy's office. I mean, from here to Hosea Way. And this was my cubicle, and that was her office door and secretary. And so I got to see it. I went to New York. I got the job. I did the commuting. I was doing the life. I was on my way. And I realized, like, God gave me a new dream. That was an old dream. That was my dream. But God placed in me a new dream that he had for me. You got to release your dreams to God and start accepting his plans for your life. Stop kind of trying to control yourself. Stop kind of trying to control what you do. I even could see this where we could do this with ministry, where we could become almost exhausted in doing things for the Lord. When God doesn't really care about any of that. He just wants you and you alone. Yes, ministry or those places in which we do things are the platform in which we experience God. In which we can have a relationship with him, where we can grow and be fine-tuned. My pastor used to tell us the whole reason why we did events at our church, the whole reason why we did like a VBS or an outreach wasn't so much for them, wasn't so much for the people coming, it was for you. It was so that God can refine you and retool you and grow you, and so that you and I would rub shoulders with one another, and all of a sudden we'd become iron sharpening iron. I'm telling you, like, this is a reality, is we have to surrender what our ideas are to God so that we can become greater than what we try to control ourselves. I think the bigger question that we have to ask ourselves is like, what are we trying to control in our life? Like, what are we not surrendering to? What burdens are we constantly carrying around that we're not really giving fully over to the Lord? What we simply can do is what? We can bring our pain, bring our heartache, bring our grief, bring the troubles that we have before the Lord and say, God, I trust you with the outcome. I trust you with the end result. I release it to you. I release it to you. So Hannah teaches this beautiful story of this moment, this wisdom of what surrender looks like. But our next mother teaches us what I believe real courage looks like. This comes from Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 to 10. The story of Jochebed, Moses' mom. It says in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 23, by faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born because They saw he was no ordinary child, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. See, the wisdom statement here that we want to grab a hold of today from Jochebed, Moses' mom, is faith does not ignore fear. Faith does not ignore fear. It obeys God in the midst of it. In the middle of the fear that we're experiencing, we will still obey God. See, let me tell you the story here. Pharaoh at that time issued this edict in the land that all the firstborn children of Israel would be killed, all the boys specifically. And the reason why is they started to notice while these Hebrews are starting to become a little large in number, and they got a little nervous about them doing kind of a little takeover, okay? This little rebellion that could possibly happen. So let's just kill all the firstborn. And so they threw the babies in the Nile, and they did all these horrible things. So Jochebed, Moses' mom, hides Moses for 3 months, and finally she comes to a place where she has to release her son and lose control of the future that he might have. She places him in a basket on the Nile River and releases that basket into a place where she can't control no more. Imagine the courage in that moment. For the safety of the child and the hope that God would take care of her child, she releases the baby into the river. I mean, like letting go, like trusting God in that moment, believing God would protect what she could definitely not anymore. What faith she displayed. What obedience she displayed when the future was very uncertain. The beautiful thing is Moses ends up getting raised up within the under Pharaoh, and he's now has access to the town, or access to Pharaoh himself. So when God raises him up through the years, he's able to come to Pharaoh before Pharaoh himself and say, "Let my people go." Like the control that she wanted to hold and hide still, but the releasing of that control, God delivers him to a place and puts him in a place where now he has even greater power. See, when we obey God in the middle of our fear, God can do amazing things, radical things, things that we could not imagine. See, sometimes sometimes obedience could feel like putting your child or your future into the river and you can't control where it's going. Do you ever teach your kid how to ride a bike? Like, have you ever firsthand experience? I'm telling you, it's nerve-wracking. Like, my wife was the one just with the video camera the whole time. But the one to have the back of the seat, they're not gonna make it right now. Or you got to get your running shoes on because you're running a lot, chasing that bike around. But the moment when you think they might have it, right? You have to let go, and you are completely submitting your control. You are lost control now. You are no longer the one steering the bike. It is 100% on them. That's kind of like what we must do in our relationships and in our life. When we're faced in the midst of fear, we must still obey God in the middle of it. And say, God, I don't have control over this outcome, but I can obey you right here, right now. We want to handle it more like this. We want to say, God, I'm afraid, I'm scared. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to park it right here. I'm going to wait till the fear disappears. No, obeying God means obeying God while we are afraid. Trusting God with what you can't protect yourself. I'm even recalling stories in the Old Testament of I heard this story this past week, or I don't know when I heard it and who I heard it, but just they brought it up, of just the Israelites marching around Jericho. I mean, what? They're completely out of control, completely vulnerable right now. And like all they're supposed to do is just march around, like while they're probably afraid, but they're just trusting in God that he has control and that he knows what he's doing. I think for you and I, these are steps that you and I can take in many different ways in our life where we can practice obedience. I'm telling you, stepping into ministry is a fearful step of faith. Guess what? Some of you might not be serving right now in our church. It is a scary step to say, you know what, I'll be on the ushering team, I'll be on the worship team, I'll be on the media team, I'll be in the nursery, I'll be in the children's church, I'll take care of the property, I'll do all these things. It's scary. You know why? Because it's asking you to give up something. Or you got to talk to people you never talked to before. Like, it's a lot better to just walk into a church on a Sunday and just feel good and warm and fuzzy inside your heart and walk out. It's a lot more comfortable. But like the reality is stepping into ministry or calling that God has on your life is really difficult. Or forgiving someone. Have you ever done that one? Have you ever said like, I forgive you? And maybe not even said it to their face, but like just experienced it in your own heart and mind. Like, I forgive you. I remember going up to this guy at work. He was 6'4", okay? 6'4", and me and him were in this massive conflict. And I don't even know what it was about. I didn't know why we were in the conflict, but I just simply said to him, I'm sorry, like, please forgive me. And like, hey man, I just want you to know, like, whatever you've been saying, like, I forgive you too. Like, I didn't go to him with that approach first. He said, first, I'm sorry for saying all these bad things. I'm like, I forgive you, brother. Like, the guy was big and scary. But you know what I had to do? I had to start the conversation. Like, what is that step of faith that God is asking you to step into? It's more of like you stepping out of something, right? Out of a space of control, out of a safe space. What is God telling you to step into or out of and into? Maybe you don't even know the into, but I know I need to step out of this. So we see Jochebed who's teaching us this unbelievable courage through the uncertainty that she had of when she released her child into the Nile River. Our last mom is where we can find true hope in her story. And that's the story. I got to talk about Mary today. Got to talk about Mary. Luke chapter 1, verse 38. I am the Lord's servant, Mary answered. May your word to me be fulfilled. Then the angel left her. Luke 1:38. So this wisdom statement that I believe that we can grab hold of is that a life surrendered to Jesus may not be easy, but it is always meaningful. A life surrendered to Jesus may not be easy, but it is always meaningful. So Mary says yes to God. She says, yes, Lord, I'm your servant. Hey, yes, I will bear your child. Did she understand everything? Heck no. But she was willing to carry Jesus in her womb. She was willing to give birth to God's son. And she was willing to watch him die on a cross. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, we look about the joyful part of it, but sometimes, I mean, how many times have you heard that story of the birth of Mary, the birth of Jesus, or Mary bearing the son of the? How many times do we hear about Jesus on the cross? But sometimes, many times, we forget the only person that was still there was Mary and a few friends. A faithful mom. No matter what the pain is that her child is experiencing, she will be faithful and stand by his side. From joy to persecution. I mean, for real, she had to experience all these things like confusion, even criticism. Can you imagine the words that she possibly heard throughout her life? Of bearing the son of God, what people might have said about her, the pain that she felt inside as she watched her son experience all these things, or what people said about her. I mean, I get a little upset if someone says something mean about my son on a soccer sideline. But I mean, what Jesus was doing was flipping tables, turning systems upside down, breaking traditions, religious laws, coming against the biggest religious establishment that existed in that time. He was making it all different. He was even saying, I'm going to destroy this temple and build something new. And Jesus was coming against that. And as a mom, you got to be like, shh, like, just be quiet. For once, you're driving me crazy. But in that moment, you know what she did? Even in the suffering, even through the criticism, even in the confusion, even in the heartache that she experienced, guess what she did? She remained faithful. She remained. See, God's purpose is often carried through. So let me say that. God's purpose in your life is often carried through or experienced through the painful obedience. You're never going to be able to experience the purposes of God if you don't experience pain. If we don't experience heartache, if we don't experience confusing times. See, following Jesus is not a straight and narrow road. It's narrow, but it's windy, and it's confusing, and it's up, and it's down. There's hills, and there's valleys. And it's not comforting. It's more like not just walking around like, I got this crown on my head, I'm going to heaven, hallelujah. Like, it's more like walking around like you got a cross on your back, and you're going to your death. See, the greatest stories that we read in our Bible, yes, there's great stories of this beautiful stories throughout our Bible of the things that we can celebrate through, but most of them are these stories of like heartache and pain, and where we see evidence of people's sacrifice and their faith as they are sacrificing or surrendering. So I think the most important thing that you and I can grab a hold of through the wisdom of Mary is you can't walk away from God when your obedience to God becomes a little costly. And I would wish let me take that word out, little. Like, you can't walk away from God when your obedience becomes costly. It's not going to ask for a little, it's going to ask for a lot. And we must stay faithful even when we don't even understand the process. Mary, do you think she understood? Yeah, I'll bear the Son of God. Like, I'll carry him. Man, woo, I'm going to be a popular mom. Like, my son's going to be sitting on the throne. And all of a sudden, you see him hanging on a cross. That's a confusing story. No, she did not know everything in advance. But like, we can know this, that God is working even in the painful seasons. And most importantly, I think a simple way that you could remember this is your yes to God matters to God. Like, yes, Lord, even when. Yes, Lord, when this. Yes, Lord. Yes, yes, yes. It matters. So just to recap, Hannah teaches us about surrendered. Jochebed teaches us about this courageous faith. And we have Mary teaching us about faithful obedience. Here's the questions to you, or things that you and I should be wrestling with. And listen, 3-point messages, they're fun and all, but I don't expect you guys to remember any of these 3 points after today. I hope you do. But what I would love for you to do is wrestle with something. Like, wrestle with one thing. Have your, what we call at Building on the Rock, your Kairos moment, your God moment. Because many of us will walk out and like, oh, I felt the Lord speaking to me today. Ooh, that was a good message. Ooh, I heard that one. Ooh, the wisdom of mom. I wrote those down. Hey, don't you know, kids? Like, mom has a lot of wisdom here. Really, the thing that you need to wrestle with is like, what is God trying to do in your life? What is he speaking to you right now? Is he asking you to surrender something to him? Ask him, God, what are you asking me to surrender to you right now? Like if he's magnifying something, if something's jumping off the table at you, and you're like, man, I can't stop thinking, I got to surrender that. Well, stop today. Today's a great day to stop. Today's a great day to say, Lord, I surrender to you. Or you can ask another simple question of God, where are you at?